Mahadeva, 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 Mahadeva. सुनाई दे रहा है?
Finish.
महादेव.
This is good.
जी हाँ. महादेव करे शुरू. ओम ओम यो ब्रह्माणं विदधाति पूर्वम् यो वै वेदांश्च प्रहिणोति तस्मै तं ह देवमात्मबुद्धिप्रकाशम् मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये. ओम शांति शांति शांतिः. ओम नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्या संप्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः. सर्वोपप्लवरहितः प्रज्ञानघनः प्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि. ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि. ओम वेदान्तार्थविभासकाय गुरवे शान्ताय सन्न्यासिने नानावादीनगेन्द्रसङ्घपवये योगीन्द्रवन्द्याय च मोहध्वान्तदिवाकराय भगवत्पादाभिधां बिभ्रते तस्मै भाष्यकृते नमोऽस्तु सततं पूर्णाय बोधात्मने. ओम. In enumerating the divine virtues, and the very reason for calling it divine is because it becomes instrumental in in releasing oneself from the bondage of suffering. So the other qualities which are born from ignorance and so also are responsible to keep the bondage intact and rather strengthens the bondage of suffering, and therefore they are called as demonic. There is no other reason for calling them divine or demonic. Not that these are the virtues sent by God, these are the qualities created by this Saturn, Satan, devil. No. When one does not know that one is already complete, that is what one's nature is. One seeks for completeness in life, for fulfillment in life. Then he may seek it in pleasure, power, position, recognition, so on and so forth. This is the case. But in doing so, when that person becomes extremely selfish, ruthless in his attempt to gain the power, recognition, position, wealth, then in that he becomes so selfish that he creates suffering around him for others. And therefore, there is nobody else responsible for all this other than ignorance and perpetuation of ignorance. Therefore, now let us look at the qualities which have to be encountered, which have to be resolved by developing the divine qualities in our life. So here few are mentioned here, and then again in Bhagavad Gita we are going to find that Bhagavan Shri Krishna is not satisfied in making you aware of what is it that you really need to fight, but he iterates and elaborates once again in the chapter 16 of Bhagavad Gita. There are two places in the same chapter where Bhagavan goes ahead and does it. Let us do that. We are on page number 89 of the physical copy. You'll have to find what is the PDF number. दम्भो दर्पोऽभिमानश्च दम्भो दर्पोऽभिमानश्च क्रोधः पारुष्यमेव च क्रोधः पारुष्यमेव च अज्ञानं चाभिजातस्य अज्ञानं चाभिजातस्य पार्थ सम्पदमासुरीम् Abhijatasya, the one who is born. Hey, it comes. How? Dambha. Meaning over here Bhagavan Shri Krishna is saying that it is not something that you can say that because of my mother, father, brother. This can be the reasons, excuses. Circumstances and situations can be the excuses. You know, somewhere in India when there are riots and people were pelting stones because some illegal construction was brought down, some illegal houses were constructed, and with the bulldozer they brought those houses down. Then that community and people came down onto the road, pelting stones, burning vehicles, setting fire, arson to the trains, etc. They all did it all. So they are saying that if you are going to bring our houses down, we will do this. So do not justify that under the name of human rights, that people doing such activities. Because we have yet another community which was sent away from Kashmir overnight, where the religious places use the loudspeakers to tell either you leave or you die, but leave your women behind. An exodus overnight. Their houses were taken away, their properties were taken away, they were killed, but nobody did come on the roads pelting stones, setting fires, making riots. So, if you say that this is justified because their houses were bulldozed, then the other community also should say that we are doing this because this is how our houses were taken away, properties taken away, our women killed, men killed. It's quite possible, and therefore don't justify this is natural reaction. This is not natural. Don't justify it. Circumstances can be responsible, but you basically there is this is something demonic. So you aren't taking learning these from your social what do they call, or from your inherited from your father, mother, or so anything like that. So let us look at these demonic qualities. Dambha. Dambha means where a person becomes dharmadvaji. He may do very little good work, but advertises it in a big way. He wants everybody to know, and perhaps glorifies himself to no end. This also is called as hypocrisy. Certain that much goodness is not there in you, but then you want it to be advertised, blown up in such a way that you know nobody else other than him was born on earth with such good qualities. Dambhaha, to show what you really are not. Darpaha, darpa means arrogance. Abhimanaha, now over here that word abhimana, atimanita we have seen. Abhimana over here means huh? Self? No. Conceit. Okay. It means conceit. Dambha, darpaha, abhimanaha, krodhaha. Whenever something goes against your desire. Now he knows only one thing, krodha, anger. He is angry. Parushya. Parushya means very harsh words. Ajnanam, and will the person is not ready to understand, and without understanding you will never ever make any progress. So this person seems to be, you also must have seen that when people say don't teach us, so he is not ready. He is not ready to find out, to investigate. Once the opinion is formed, it is as if it is the final thing. And therefore this person seems to be in the paksha, पक्षधर, अज्ञान के पक्षधर हो जाते हैं. पार्थ संपदा संपदमासुरीम, हे पार्थ और अर्जुना, this is the demonic wealth. So the people, and they retain it, they value it, their dambha, darpa, abhiman, krodha, parushya. People say that I can't speak sweetly. This is how I am. Then learn. Then learn. If you can't, don't speak. पुनरपि अध्याय पुनरप्याध्याय परिसमाप्तेः आसुर संपत् प्रपंचिता. He says now even at the end of towards the end of that chapter, Bhagavan Shri Krishna again once again, as if he got that, how gush that he should speak on asura sampat once again, and he tatra अशास्त्रीयाः अशास्त्रीयायाः स्वभावसिद्धायाः असुरसम्पदो दुर्वासनायाः शास्त्रीयपुरुषप्रयत्नसाध्यया दैवसम्पदा सद्वासनया क्षये जाते जीवन्मुक्तिः भवति. Now we have seen how is this the asura sampada. It comes naturally. It need not be taught. It need become hypocrite, okay? No, it has not to be taught. The person, it comes naturally. Have ostentatious image about yourself. It need not be taught. He gets it. And over there, so how is it? It is a shastriya. It is ashastriya. Swabhava siddhayaha. So sometimes these are the qualities which are there, and then there are books, ideologies which provide fodder to these qualities under the name of religion, organization, ideology, political ideology, religious ideology, so on and so forth. Asura sampado durvasanayaha. Now, how has this to be, how to put an end to this? Shastriyaya Purusha Prayatna Sadhyaya. Now, the other sampada, the Daivi sampada, has to be gained by one's own effort. Purusha Prayatna Sadhyaya. It is not going to come naturally. It is not some gift that somebody is going to give you. You will have to work on it. You'll have to work on it. The other day, I was watching some documentary and they were excavating bones of human beings. I mean, whatever, several thousands, millions of years, and some bones. And they said, here we have found a very interesting thing, how the civilization must have started. Because they found some human bones where the one of the major bones of the leg was broken, but it showed the sign of getting joined again. So these people said this is extraordinary, because if an animal dies with that kind of an injury, or if an animal has that kind of an injury, the other animals are not going to sit and bring him food, water, take care of him till he recovers and the bone is joined. He is left over there to die. But this means that there were people who were taking care of him, providing him food, shelter, protection, because this injury meant that the person was totally bedridden, he could not move. So it meant that somebody was nursing him, taking care of him. It means already the human relationships indicated care for each other. So perhaps we can believe that this is which can be called as the beginning of civilized society living. Hmm.
But if the bone is showing as a joint, does that mean that they know the knowledge of joining the bone, like medicinal effect also they know? I didn't see them for documentary which we watch. That it
do
also
do not necessarily it means that it could have had
could
been
have
in the medicines or whatever, but definitely
they
body also has the capacity to recover
heal it
itself.
to heal itself. Yes.
Yeah, to heal itself. So शास्त्रीयया पुरुष प्रयत्न साध्यया दैवत संपदा सद्वासनया क्षये सती जीवन मुक्ति ही भवति. And so, when these are the qualities which have to be acquired, nurtured, taken care of, protected, so that the asura sampat will be neutralized, will become ineffective in life. Why should we do this? So he says, kshaye jate, sadvasanaya kshaye jate, because of the sadvasana, when the asura sampada gets what do they call, nullified, or eventually gradually gets destroyed, resolved, Jivan Mukti he bhavati, Jivan Mukti is attained. Vasana kshayavat manonashasyapi Jivan Mukti hetutvam shruyate. Now we have understood, yeah, yes. Here we have Vasana kshaya, which was explained to us, has been explained to us as the cause of Jivan Mukti, Vasanakshaya. Just as Vasanakshaya has been explained, so also Manonasha also has been explained as the cause of Jivan Mukti. Vasanakshayavat Manonashasyapi Jivan Mukti Hetutvam Shruyate. How? Mana eva manushyanam कारणं बन्धमोक्षयोः बन्धाय विषयासक्तम् बन्धाय विषयासक्तम् मुक्त्यै निर्विषयं स्मृतम्. Mana eva manushyanam, the mind of a person is responsible for bandha as well as for moksha. Over there, Daivi Sampat is said as to be the Hetu, the Karanam for moksha, and Asura Sampat is called as the Hetu, Karanam, the cause for bondage. So also mind over here is said as to be the cause of bondage. Mind itself is the cause of moksha. What kind of mind which is said as to be the cause for bondage? Mind which is agitated and which keeps on generating, manufacturing thoughts after thoughts, trails of thought. And that mind now, which has learned how to stay silent, Staying silent means keeping the mouth shut is not the only thing. The mind also should be silent. You have learned what is the definition of manonasha. Vritti rupa parinama parityajya nirodha rupa parinamena sthasyati. It sits like that. That nirodha rupa parinama is called as manonasha. So over here, that mind which is constantly chattering is the cause for bondage, and that mind which has learned to stay absorbed, to stay silent, is the mind which is the cause for moksha. Bandhaya, further he says, bandhaya vishayasaktam. That mind which is asaktam means extremely attached, hankering after. Hankering after for what? For constant experience of sense objects. Vishayasaktam. Either for sense objects or for gratification, glorification of the ego. Vishayasaktam. But how is the other mind? Muktyai. That mind which is free from this. That mind in which there is no Vishaya, no object. Such mind is the cause for liberation. Yato yato nirvishayasya yato nirvishayasya manaso muktirishyate ato nirvishayam nityam ato nirvishayam nityam manah karyam mumukshuna manah karyam mumukshuna. Just as, huh? Not just as, because the mind has been said as that mind which is nirvishayam, that mind which is not keeping any object in its womb, because to hold any object, a thought is required. And when the thoughts are given up, the mind by itself is silent. So, yato nirvishayasyasya manasaha muktirishyate. Because it is said that it is only for this mind liberation is there, which is free from all the objects, seeking objects. Such mind is meant for mukti, is will reach, attain mukti. Ato nirvishayam nityam. So therefore, a seeker, an aspirant who wants to attain moksha liberation, what should he do? Nirvishayam nityam manakaryam. He should practice meditation every day, always. Nirvishayam, that mind in which there is no object held, silent, like that. Nirasta vishaya sangam sanniruddham manoridi yada yatyunmani bhavam tada tatparamam padam. Nirasta vishaya sangam. By giving up the mind which is bereft of attachment, longing for vishayas, for the sense objects, etc. Not just sense objects, even the objects for ego's glorification. So, nirasta vishaya sangam. So, then sanniruddham manoridi, that mind which is absorbed in the heart. Okay, Hriday. Yada yatyunmani bhavam. And that Hriday means the, just don't take this to be, the physical heart, but that really means it is the very heart, the center of life. What is that center of life? Atma, over there. Otherwise, it can all, really, that is also good. Yada yatyunmani bhavam, then such mind which stays absorbed, submerged in the self, what happens? Unmani bhavam, the mind gains, undergoes a metamorphosis. That mind becomes unmana. It transcends its lower nature. Unmani bhavam yati. There are two types of minds: a mind which rises upwards, and a mind which moves downwards. Urdhvagati and adhogati. The mind which swiftly gets absorbed in meditation is the mind which is moving upwards, and a mind which constantly dwells upon objects of pleasure and objects of ego glorification is the mind which is adhogati, going downwards. So, what is that? Unmani bhavam. Un means upwards, moving upwards. Unmani bhavam yati. When this is the state of the mind, tada tat paramam padam. Then after that, such a seeker will attain the, that what is absolute, the final, the highest, the supreme. तावदेव निरोद्धव्यम् तावदेव निरोद्धव्यम् यावदृदिगतं क्षयम् यावदृ एतज्ज्ञानं च मोक्षश्च एतज्ज्ञानं च मोक्षश्च शेषो ग्रन्थस्य विस्तरः शेषो ग्रन्थस्य विस्तरः तावदेव nirodhavyam. The mind should be held submerged in the self, in Brahman, till, to what point? Till it loses its identity as mind. Okay? Yavadridigatam kshayam, till it doesn't dissolve. Other than Brahman, there is nothing. Ahameva sarvam. Till the point this is not the experience. Etajnanam cha mokshascha. This itself is knowledge. This is what he calls as knowledge. Till the mind is not completely dissolved in the self. Mokshascha, and this is liberation. This is knowledge. The rest of it is all expansion of the book. Shesho granthasya vistaraha. This is what is to be understood. What is jnanam? Till the mind gets dissolved in Brahman, Atma. Does not have any separate existence. Can you say the cloth has any separate existence other than the cotton? No. Exactly like that. Not only this world, even this mind also now recognizes that it is nothing else other than Brahman. Till that point, Brahmeva Satyam. Till the point, so the mind does not retain its own identity. I'm separate, that is Brahman, I'm here, I'm knowing Brahman. Even such kind of a thing also does not happen. I know Brahman, I'm meditating on God. No, There's just God alone. Now there is God. Where is the mind? God. So till that point, this is the knowledge. This is what is called as moksha. The rest of it is all vistaraha. Granthasya vistaraha. Because somebody is going to ask, what point should we keep on meditating? Till nothing but God alone remains. Not even you, I know God to claim. Otherwise, I know God, I'm a man of God, and that's why I should be the head of the state. A religious head of the state, create one another, carve out a country for me, and I will rule. That is what happened in Mussolini's time. Till then, Vatican was a part of the Rome of Italy. Now, Tavadeva, Tavadeva eva nirodhavyam. Till that point, it should be there. I know God, etc., is not there. God, God alone is, nothing else is. Not even the mind which claims to be the knower. Nowhere. Furthermore, the bondage is of two types. One is called as something that is soft fetters and the strong fetters. Bandho dvivethaha tivro mridascha. Hmm. Tivra meaning strong, and mridu meaning soft. Hmm. The reason for calling it soft means that there is an easy way out of it. Some, of course, the chains created from steel are stronger, and the chains of gold are weaker because gold is malleable easily. Yet the chains of gold will bind even more strongly. You must have heard that interesting story, right? So there is this guru and shishya, and they are walking by some, passing through the village, and they see there is one man, farmer or so, who is pulling a cow by a rope around its neck. So the cow is walking behind its master. So the guru asked the question, tell me among these two, who belongs to whom? Does the cow belong? Who is the master? And whose property? A slave. He says, of course, the cow belongs to the farmer, and that's why he has put the rope around and taking it. So the cow better follow, otherwise we'll get two slaps, or what do they call? Will be hit by the cane. What do you call it?
Switch.
Uh, switch.
Switch of it.
So the teacher says, I will show you who is the owner and who is the owned. So he goes and takes away the rope. The cow starts running. And this man is annoyed. And he starts running behind the cow. He tells his disciple, look, he was He was able to make the cow run behind him with a rope, but the cow is making him run behind her even without the rope. So, who owns whom? You think that you own all this. You are the owner, you are the master. Now, think who's master? Who controls whom? Decide who controls whom. You think this money I own. Who controls whom? Decide. So over there are these two bondages. One is called as the strong, and the other one is called as the mridu, meaning that what is soft. Not fragile as such, but it is soft. It can make you a little comfortable, but it still will bind you. Like if there is you are bound by a steel chain, obviously it is strong. But even if you are tied with a cloth, you will become cozy, comfortable, and sleep in it. Therefore, that is also a bondage. Mriduscha. Now, amongst these two, he says, Tatra asura sampat sakshadeva klesha hetutva tivro bandha. The asura sampat is a tivra bandha, is a strong fetter. Why? Klesha hetutva, because it generates afflictions. वो दुख उत्पन्न करके ही रहेगा. The egoism, you want to show your pride, ego. It will definitely at that very time also it will make the person unhappy. When one has an exaggerated image about himself, then he expects everybody to abide by that image. I am so important. And when the other people do not recognize his importance or do not give him that importance, he feels angry and he feels unhappy, sad. That is what happens to these actors, etc., who have learned to stay in the limelight for all the time. Politicians. But when they lose the power or lose the limelight, but wherever they go, they feel that they should be recognized, they should be given the same treatment. And when they do not get it, it makes them very sad. It makes them very sad. So here he now says, Asura sampat sakshadeva klesha hetutvat bandha, tivro bandha. We all recognize that Asura sampat is what? Bandha karanam, or bandha itself. But he says it is a tivra bandha. It is a strong fetter. Why? Because it generates dukkham immediately. Sakshat klesha hetu. Then, sir, what is the soft bondage? Daivi sampat? No, because we already have said Daivi sampat is the cause for moksha. So don't bring that over here. Then what is the mridubandha? He says, Dvaita matra pratitistu swayam aklesha rupatvad asura sampat utpadakatvacha mridubandha. The Dvaita pratiti. Dvaita pratiti means the experience of duality. The experience of duality by itself, experiencing duality, is it causing dukkham? No, it is not the cause of dukkham. Immediately, sakshat hetu nahi hai. But this duality means I am an individual. Now this individual will slowly develop ideas about himself, self importance, etc. Everything will come. When when will this happen? When there is duality, experience of duality, and because of it, now it becomes the cause for asura sampat. It becomes the cause for demonic qualities, not by itself. And therefore, this experience of duality is called as mridu bandha. You understand what is the mridu means? Soft, fetter. Oh, let that duality be seen. What is wrong? Does it make me a tyrant? Am I just by experiencing duality? Do I go? Does it provoke me to go kill people or do anything that is illegitimate? No, but it becomes the cause for asura sampat. And so, mridu bandha tatra vasanakshayena. So now he explains. Now it is through the vasanakshaya तीव्र बंधः एव निवर्तते. By developing or anchoring the divine qualities, the asura sampat is nullified. Huh? Neutralized, nullified. Nivartate, it is destroyed, it goes away. Tivra bandha goes away. What removes the tivra bandha? Vasanakshaya. Then he adds, manonashena tu bhayam. But sir, and manonasha is responsible for removing even the experience of duality. They're absorbed. Where is the experience of duality? No. But he says manonasha is capable of removing both. In case of a yogi, the asura sampat is also removed, and also the experience of dvaita pratiti, experience of duality, is also removed. Then, sir, why are you keeping vasanakshaya? Let us say that only manonasha is required. Is not it? That should be your logical question. Then why are we having vasanakshaya as the cause for Jivanmukti? Why are we keeping it? Let us retain only the manonasha, meditation. Because meditation can do both. So here he says, Tarhi manonashena eva alam. Then in that case, manonasha should be sufficient. That should suffice. Alam vasanakshyastu nirarthakaha iti ched. Then in that case, vasanakshaya is a redundant thing, because if you can do both the things through one, why have second one? Correct? Why have the second one?
The vasana is different from the mind. The vasana kshaya should be first removed, then the mano kshaya should be merged with the mano. Manonasha will not happen without vasana.
That we have already seen.
Yeah. But why do we have two? That's what we.
So then say Vasanakshaya is the cause of Manonash. But you are not saying that Vasanakshaya is just the cause of Manonash. You are saying Vasanakshaya along with Manonasha is the cause of Jivanmukti.
Because vasana is based upon past experience. That experience, that those needs to be removed because that experience is caused by the mind itself.
Hmm.
So there, though the mind is causing the past experience, the vasana, that has to be removed, and then the mano mano
Nasha.
nasha also needs.
Not really. Now he gives you a little more. So that's why we are calling. I have always said that this particular book, Jivanmukti Vivek, gives you a lot of material for sadhana. Because we find that most of the books, uh, even advanced books, are Siddhanta Paksha. But Sadhana Paksha is itastataha. It is spread, like scattered all over. This is one book which brings that entire sadhana paksha and keeps it in front, gathers it from everywhere. And so this is a very, very interesting, very important book. Now look at it. Iti chet, the teacher says no. No means no, sir, it's not the way you think. Because you could have just come to the conclusion, well, nothing else is required, only manonash, vasanakshaya, etc. Why? Your meditation is capable of doing the both. These vipassana people are of this opinion. Vipassana, those people who do vipassana, they say that only meditation. Vasanakshaya is also required. And how does the vasanakshaya take place? By neutralizing the asura vasanas through the daivi vasana. Okay? Now remember that. भोग हेतुना प्रबलेन प्रारब्धेन व्युत्थापिते मनसि वासना क्षयस्य तीव्रबन्ध निवारणार्थत्वात् भोगस्य मृदुबन्धेनापि उपपत्तेः. Now, actually, the last part of that line, something seems to be, I have to match it with some other, edition or some other thing. There seems to be something over here. But any which ways, let us go by this sentence. Bhoga hetuna prabalena prarabdhena. So prarabdha means, now you understand what is prarabdha. You have an idea. The karma, the actions which were done in the past, are now ready to give their results in terms of sukham and dukkham, in terms of joys and sorrows now. Okay, it is there. So circumstances will be there around you. So, and then those circumstances, this is karma phala. Now, in order to experience the karma phala, you require that particular kind of a body mind complex. Correct? You require the body mind complex. When the prarabdha is such that it is going to present its phalam, okay, in the vyuthapita manasi, when the mind is not absorbed, when the mind is not in the state of samadhi, at that time, that bhoga which comes, now that can be encountered, that can be neutralized only through asana akshaya. If you are absorbed in meditation and somebody comes and insults you, what difference? Does it create dukkham for you? No. But when you are not in the state of samadhi and this fellow comes and insults, bhai kya? What was the need for you to do this? This dukkham. And so, vyuthapite manasi vasanakshayasya tivra bandha nivaranarthatvad. But then he is now not in the state of samadhi, so he is obviously registering the situations and circumstances around him, and somebody comes and censures him or says something that is not becoming, not good, insults him. Now that is bound to create dukkham. But if this person has some daivi vasana or the daivi sampat, he will say, very good, sir, you have come to do this. Thank you. Because this is the only way you are actually making me free. The all the my past sin is finished. So now he does not come back. I will show you. You are insulting me. I मुझे बुरा बोलते हो, मुझे बुढ़ा बोला, तू बुढ़ा, तेरा बाप बुढ़ा, तेरा खानदान बुढ़ा. No, he goes about, you know, that is what you are telling me. You are like that. Your father is like that, and he goes about your whole khandan is like that. You asura sampada angry, but he has daiva sampada, and somebody comes insults. He says, "Very good, son," because he now knows how to retain the peace of his heart. He is not going to compromise with the peace of his heart, peace of his mind, because he has shama. Correct? Shantirapaishunam, we have seen this quality, Daivi Sambha. So now when he is not in the state of absorption, and when the Prabala Prarabdha brings such situations, at that time he is Vasana Kshaya is the only thing which can remove the Tivra Bandha. Got it? Bhogasya mrudubandhena api upapattehe. But say suppose if he is in state of absorption, obviously there is no experience of duality. So the mrudubandha is gone. And if he is in the state of absorption, somebody comes and insults him, it still doesn't make any difference. And therefore, even if that prabala prarabdha comes, eh, gone. Does not make any. So that's why. But can you stay in the state of absorption 24 hours? No, sir. 20. We will do only that. You try for 3 minutes first. You try for 3 minutes first. In 1.5 minutes, is it finished? When will he say Om, final Om? To sit steady even for 5 minutes, is it that itself people feel torture? That is their Tivra Bandha. What you're saying? That's a tamasa now here. तामसवृत्तयः तीव्रबन्धः. Hmm. So we have seen Asuri Sampada is called as Tivrabandha. Now he gives you the categorization of Tivra and Mridubandha through the guna. The categorization is through the guna. And he says that tamasa vrittayaha tivra bandhaha. Those thought processes which are predominated by the tamo guna are tivra bandhaha, the strong fetters. Then satvika rajasa vrittidvayam mridu bandhaha. The vrittis, the thought processes which are dominated by the sattva and rajoguna, mixture of sattva and raja, are called as mridubandha. Etacha. So this has been said now. Dukkheshvanudvignamanaha sukheshu vigataspruhaha iti atra spashtikritam. So he had quoted a shloka before from Bhagavad Gita, and its explanation was also provided in the earlier pages. He says over there we have already clarified this. Clarified what? Sattva and Rajasa vritti, Sattvic and Rajasa vrittis are Mridubandha, and the Tamo vrittis are Tivrabandha. So now we understand that we require both Vasana Kshaya as well as Manonasha. Okay? Vasana Kshaya will deal with the Tivrabandha, and Manonasha will deal with the Mridubandha, the soft fetters. Though the Mridubandha is removed by the Manonasha through Samadhi, Abhyasa, practice of Samadhi, yet the Samadhi Abhyasa can deal with Tivrabandha also. Then have only Samadhi Abhyas, why anything else? He says, no. In the Vyuthapite Manasi, that mind which is ejected out of the state of Samadhi, because that 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, at the most you can be there for 23 hours, but 24th hour you will be out through that Samadhi. Because it is the state, but we will make it permanent. You have tried to make several things permanent. You promised, I will love you forever. Permanent love. What happened to that permanent love? What happened? You tried to make everything permanent. I will remain young forever. Chavanprash. 60 साल के बूढ़े के 60 साल के जवान. They say, don't say now, I'm 60 years old. You say, I'm 60 years young. You're trying to keep all those things, making things permanent. How much? How much successful have you been with that? Even Mr. Universe, 7 times Mr. Universe, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now look at his body. Now he can be made to sit in the row of judges. You tell nothing. And therefore it is a state. That Samadhi is after all state. And therefore it is impermanent. There will be Vyuthapan. You will be thrown out of, ejected out of that state of absorption. And when you are not, But when the mind is in a mode of transactions with the world, at that time the vasana akshaya is going to be along with you. Okay, that's why you require vasana akshaya also. Ityatra spashtikritam further.
Mridubandha seems to be more challenging.
Hmm?
Mridubandha seems to be most challenging. Duality.
Experience of duality.
Yeah. So that elaborate better how to, while not in that state of samadhi, how we can avoid.
So that is what the whole thing is. That is what is there. Now on page number 92. तदेवं जीवन मुक्तिं प्रति वासनाक्षयमनुनाशयोः साक्षात् साधनत्वात् प्राधान्यम्. And therefore, when it is, what was the original question? Why did we enter into this discussion? Because the student said, sir, we are not able to understand out of this three, Tattvajnanam, Manonasha, and Vasanakshaya, you said, depending upon the purpose of a person, one will become predominant, the other will become secondary. The one will become primary, the other will become secondary. That is what you had said. And the purposes are two, which no, Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti. When Videha Mukti is your purpose, that time Tattvajnanam is Pradhanam. Tattvajnanam is Pradhanam. Primary Prayojan. क्या हुआ? Primary one. And Manonasha and Vasanakshaya will remain secondary. When Jivan Mukti is the purpose, that time Tattvajnanam will become secondary of, but primary will be Manonasha and Vasanakshaya.
The first one is the Jivan Mukti. The second one you mentioned
Videha Mukti.
Videha Mukti. When Videha Mukti is primary needs, then the Vasanakshaya becomes primary and the Jivan Mukti, the one of for both, maybe because I got confused in that. First you said Jivan Mukti.
So there are two purposes. Videha Mukti and Jivan Mukti.
Correct.
Depending upon what is the purpose of a person, these three will assume primary and secondary statuses. Tattvajnanam becomes primary and the other two become secondary, supporting it when the purpose is Videha Mukti. When the purpose is Jivan Mukti, the what do they call it? The Manonasha Vasanakshaya becomes primary and Tattvajnanam becomes supporting.
Why?
Hmm.
Understood the difference, but why?
You tell me why. Why don't you think? And
That's where the confusion is, Swami. That for Videha Mukti, for any kind of Mukti, you will need all the three to be attained. Is that true?
all the three are required.
All the three are required. So if that is true, then even if I am on the path of Videha Mukti, I have to do all the three. One could be primary, other two could be secondary. Um, And the moment I have all the three, then I become Jivan Mukta. Because if I die without attaining all the three, then I have to come back again. I have not attained the Mukti. So the moment I attain the three, I become Jivan Mukta. So what is really Videha Mukti?
Let's talk about it in the evening. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashkritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murtibheda Vibhagine व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः. Thank you all. Thank you very much.